When you start noticing subtle shifts within yourself, when life feels like it is nudging you in a direction you can't quite explain, something extraordinary is happening. It is not just your imagination, and it is not just coincidence. It is the awakening of your quantum consciousness. This first step is subtle yet powerful, because it begins as a quiet whisper within your soul, a feeling that you are more than what you see in the mirror, more than the roles society has placed upon you, more than the limitations you have believed about yourself for years. It begins with questions you didn't ask before. You start to wonder why you are here, what your purpose is, why you have gone through certain struggles, and why certain patterns seem to repeat in your life. These questions are not distractions. They are signals from a deeper part of you that is awakening, a part of you that knows reality is not only physical but vibrational and interconnected at the deepest levels. As your quantum consciousness begins to wake up, you might notice moments of clarity that feel like lightning flashes in your mind. A sudden realization may strike you while you're doing something ordinary, like washing dishes, walking outside, or even lying in bed. These insights feel different from regular thoughts. They feel alive, powerful, and undeniable. They make you pause and reflect because they carry a resonance that is deeper than logic. You begin to sense that the universe itself is speaking to you, nudging you, reminding you of something you already knew but had forgotten. These moments of awakening are part of the quantum field you are connected to, the invisible energy that holds all information and all possibilities. Another sign of your consciousness expanding is the heightened sensitivity to the world around you. Things that once seemed ordinary now carry meaning. A song that randomly plays feels like it was meant just for you. A phrase in a book jumps out and speaks directly to your situation. A stranger's words echo the exact thought you were just wrestling with. These are not random accidents. They are synchronicities, a reflection of the quantum field responding to your energy. As your awareness sharpens, you begin to notice that your thoughts, emotions, and intentions have a magnetic quality, pulling experiences into your life that align with your inner state. This is how the universe mirrors your awakening back to you, showing you that you are not separate from creation, but an active participant in it. With this awakening also comes a shift in how you perceive time. You may feel like days pass differently, that time stretches or contracts depending on your focus. You may look back and realize you've outgrown entire versions of yourself in what feels like a short period, as though lifetimes of growth have been condensed into months. This is because your consciousness is tapping into dimensions beyond linear time, accessing deeper truths where past, present, and future weave together. It can feel disorienting, but it is also liberating because you start to understand that your destiny is not locked in, that you are capable of rewriting your story at any moment through awareness and choice. Emotions also play a powerful role in this stage of awakening. You may find yourself feeling waves of deep compassion, love, or even sadness that seems to have no obvious source. This is your heart expanding, aligning with the truth of interconnectedness. You are feeling not just for yourself but for the collective, sensing the unity that lies beneath human separation. At the same time, your old wounds, fears, and limiting beliefs may rise to the surface more strongly than before. Do not mistake this as regression. It is a purification. As quantum consciousness awakens, everything that no longer serves your evolution must be brought into the light, acknowledged, and released. This is how your frequency rises, how you begin resonating with higher realities that were invisible to you before. The first keynote of awakening is about awareness, about sensing that there is more to life than meets the eye. It is about noticing the small but powerful shifts within you that point to a greater intelligence at work. It is the realization that your consciousness is not trapped inside your mind, but is a field of energy connected to everything, capable of influencing reality itself. And as you tune into this field, you start to sense possibilities you never imagined, solutions that appear out of nowhere, and guidance that feels divinely orchestrated. This is the gentle yet profound sign that your quantum consciousness is no longer dormant. It is waking up, and with it, a new chapter of your life begins. When your quantum consciousness begins to awaken, one of the clearest signs is the sudden, and sometimes overwhelming sense that you are connected to something far greater than yourself. It is as though an invisible web surrounds you, linking you to people, places, events, and even possibilities that you could never have orchestrated through logic alone. This is not merely a feeling of intuition, but a profound recognition that the universe itself is alive, conscious, and interacting with you on levels you had never noticed before. You might begin to sense energies in a room, feel the emotions of others before they speak, or even anticipate events before they happen. These experiences often arrive quietly, slipping into your awareness in subtle ways, until you cannot ignore them anymore. They are not coincidences, nor are they products of imagination. They are the signs that your inner self is tuning into the quantum field, the infinite intelligence that lies beneath the surface of material existence. During this stage, you may find that your perception of life shifts dramatically. Instead of seeing yourself as a separate individual moving through random circumstances, you begin to feel like a participant in a larger, unfolding story. You might catch yourself noticing patterns and synchronicities that confirm this truth. For example, you think of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and they suddenly call you. You dream of an experience, and within days, you encounter a situation that mirrors it exactly. These moments no longer feel like chance. They feel like communication, as though reality itself is speaking your language. This is the quantum field responding to your awareness, showing you that consciousness is not limited to the brain, but is woven into the very structure of the cosmos. Another sign is the deep inner pull to align your life with authenticity. When your consciousness begins to expand, you can no longer tolerate living in ways that feel false or disconnected from your true essence. Jobs that once seemed fine may now feel suffocating. Relationships that lack depth or honesty may begin to fall away. Even habits and thought patterns that once felt comfortable suddenly feel heavy, as though they no longer belong to the person you are becoming. This process can be challenging, because it often means letting go of what is familiar. But it is also liberating because it creates space for what truly resonates with your soul. The more you honor this pull toward authenticity, the stronger your connection to the quantum field becomes, because you are vibrating in harmony with your higher self. Along with this pull comes a newfound sensitivity to energy. Crowded environments might drain you more than before, while time spent in nature feels like nourishment for your spirit. Music, art, and beauty stir your soul more deeply, as though each note, each brushstroke, each moment of stillness carries a vibration that speaks directly to your being. This sensitivity is not a weakness, but a sign of your consciousness tuning into frequencies that were once beyond your perception. It is as if a veil has lifted, and you are seeing, feeling, and knowing reality in a multidimensional way. At times, it can feel overwhelming because the intensity of emotions and impressions can be strong. But this sensitivity is a gift, a sign of deeper awareness. Dreams also become a powerful gateway during this stage of awakening. You may find yourself having vivid, symbolic dreams that carry messages, guidance, or even glimpses of other realities. Some dreams may feel more real than waking life, leaving you with feelings or insights that linger long after you open your eyes. This is because as your quantum consciousness awakens, your awareness is not limited to the physical plane. You are beginning to access layers of existence that go beyond the ordinary senses, and dreams are one of the easiest doorways through which your expanded self communicates with you. Paying attention to these dreams, writing them down, and reflecting on them becomes an important practice, because they are not random. They are blueprints, messages, and reminders from your higher self and the quantum field. Another dimension of this stage is the growing realization that your thoughts and emotions carry immense creative power. You start to notice how what you dwell on internally begins to manifest externally. Negative states seem to attract more difficulties, while moments of gratitude, love, and clarity seem to open doors effortlessly. This recognition is not about superficial positive thinking, but about understanding the fundamental principle that consciousness shapes reality. As you awaken, you begin to see life as a mirror of your internal state, and you realize that by shifting your inner energy, you can influence the experiences that come into your life. This is a profound responsibility and a profound gift, one that reshapes the way you approach every choice, every interaction, and every moment. At its heart, this stage of awakening is about connection. Connection to your higher self, to others, to nature, and to the universe itself. It is the dissolving of the illusion of separation, and the realization that everything is part of a living, intelligent whole. You feel this connection in quiet moments, in bursts of synchronicity, in the beauty of the present moment, and in the undeniable guidance that seems to flow into your life. And as this connection deepens, you begin to trust more, resist less, and align yourself with the currents of a universe that is not against you but is constantly conspiring to awaken you to your true nature. As your quantum consciousness continues to awaken, one of the most profound experiences you encounter is the transformation of perception itself. What once seemed fixed and solid begins to reveal a fluid and interconnected nature. Reality is no longer seen as a rigid structure outside of you, but as a living reflection of the energy you carry within. This shift can feel disorienting at first, because it challenges everything you have been taught about how the world works. You begin to notice that your beliefs, your emotional states, and even the subtle vibrations of your thoughts seem to ripple outward, shaping the events and circumstances around you. It is as though the universe has become a mirror, constantly reflecting back the frequency you are broadcasting. This realization can feel overwhelming, but it is also empowering, because you start to understand that you are not just a passive observer of life, but a conscious participant in the unfolding of reality. During this stage, there is often a heightened awareness of synchronicities. These are not just coincidences but deeply meaningful alignments that carry messages, guidance, or validation. You may be thinking of a question, and the answer appears in a book, a conversation, or even a random advertisement. You may feel drawn to a certain path, and suddenly opportunities aligned with that direction appear out of nowhere. These synchronicities are not accidental. They are the language of the quantum field, showing you that you are connected to a greater intelligence that responds to your energy and intentions. The more you pay attention to these signs, the more they multiply, weaving a sense of magic and flow into your life. They confirm that you are not separate from creation, but intricately woven into its fabric. Another element of this awakening is the experience of expanded intuition. Where once you relied solely on logic and reason, now you find that intuitive knowing arises effortlessly. You sense the truth of situations before facts are revealed. You feel when something is aligned or misaligned without needing external proof. This intuition comes as a deep, inner knowing, a quiet voice that speaks with certainty even when it defies logic. At times, following this inner guidance may seem risky, but as you begin to trust it, you realize that it always leads you to growth, alignment, and deeper harmony with your soul's path. Intuition is not separate from consciousness, but is one of the primary ways your quantum self communicates with you, guiding you through the unseen currents of life. Emotional shifts also become more profound during this stage. You may notice that you are no longer satisfied with surface-level experiences or shallow connections. There is a growing hunger for authenticity, depth, and meaning in everything you do. This can manifest in relationships, where you feel an irresistible need for honesty and resonance, or in work, where only endeavors that feel purposeful and aligned truly energize you. Superficial pursuits lose their appeal, while acts of creativity, kindness, and service ignite your spirit. This shift is not about abandoning pleasure or material success, but about aligning with what carries real vibrational truth for you. As your consciousness awakens, your inner compass grows sharper, pointing you toward experiences that nourish your soul rather than drain it. Dream states and altered states of awareness, may also expand in this phase. You may experience lucid dreams where you are aware that you are dreaming and can even shape the dream itself. You may encounter visions, symbols, or profound feelings during meditation or moments of stillness. These are glimpses of the multidimensional reality that has always existed but was once hidden from your awareness. They remind you that life extends beyond the physical, that consciousness is not confined to the body, and that you are connected to layers of reality far beyond ordinary perception. These experiences can be awe-inspiring, sometimes even overwhelming, but they serve as reminders of your infinite nature and the vastness of the quantum field you are awakening to. With these experiences comes a deepening sense of responsibility, as you realize the power of your thoughts and emotions to shape your reality. You become more conscious of the energy you carry. Negativity, resentment, and fear no longer feel like harmless moods but vibrations that ripple outward, influencing your life and those around you. This awareness compels you to choose more intentionally, to cultivate gratitude, love, and clarity not just as ideals but as energetic states that shape the world you experience. It is not about being perfect or avoiding all negative emotions, but about becoming aware of the impact of your energy and learning to align more consistently with higher frequencies. This keynote of awakening is also marked by a sense of expansion beyond the ego, where once life revolved around personal goals, fears, and desires. Now you feel connected to something larger. You begin to care not only about your own growth, but also about the well-being of others and the collective. Acts of compassion arise more naturally, and you find yourself drawn to contribute in ways that uplift and inspire. The boundaries between self and other blur as you sense the unity that lies beneath all separation. This is not an intellectual idea, but a lived experience. A deep recognition that the same energy flowing through you flows through all beings and all of existence. As your quantum consciousness awakens, even more deeply, you begin to encounter a stage where inner transformation becomes unavoidable. It is no longer just about noticing synchronicities, heightened intuition, or subtle signs of connection. It becomes a process of shedding layers of identity that no longer fit, releasing beliefs that once defined you, and allowing yourself to step into a new vibration of being. This stage can feel both exhilarating and challenging, because transformation is not always smooth. Often, it is accompanied by periods of discomfort, confusion, and even a sense of loss, as the old self begins to dissolve and a new self emerges. You may feel like the ground beneath you is shifting, as though you are walking between two worlds, the familiar world of your past and the unfamiliar terrain of your awakening. This in-between space is not a punishment but an initiation, a sign that your consciousness is expanding into new dimensions of awareness. During this stage, you might notice that old patterns and unresolved wounds resurface with greater intensity. Habits, fears, and emotional triggers that you thought you had overcome may suddenly reappear. Relationships may become strained, situations may collapse, and emotions may fluctuate with surprising force. At first, this can feel discouraging, as though you are moving backward, but in reality, it is the exact opposite. These challenges are rising to the surface, not to trap you but to be cleared, healed, and released. Your quantum consciousness cannot carry unresolved heaviness into higher frequencies. The field you are entering requires authenticity, lightness, and alignment. And so everything that is out of harmony is being brought forward for transformation. The pain, the confusion, and the breaking down of old structures are all part of a sacred cleansing process, preparing you for greater expansion. Amidst this purification, you also begin to notice that your perspective on life changes dramatically. Things that once mattered deeply begin to lose their grip, while values and desires shift toward higher truths. Material possessions, societal approval, or old measures of success may no longer feel satisfying. Instead, what matters most is authenticity, freedom, peace, and alignment with your inner truth. This does not mean you reject the physical world or abandon responsibilities, but rather, you engage with life from a different level of awareness. Your choices are no longer driven by fear, lack, or external validation, but by resonance, intuition, and inner guidance. This shift can create both liberation and tension, especially if those around you do not yet understand your transformation. But it is a natural part of aligning with the frequency of your awakened self. Another profound aspect of this stage is the dissolution of attachments. As consciousness expands, you begin to see that much of your suffering came from clinging to people, outcomes, and identities that were never truly permanent. Awakening brings the realization that everything in this physical world is in constant flux, and trying to hold on tightly creates resistance. You start to notice how much lighter you feel when you release what no longer serves you, whether it be outdated beliefs, draining relationships, or self-sabotaging patterns. Letting go no longer feels like loss but like freedom, because you realize that the universe always replaces what is released with something more aligned. The process of surrender becomes one of the greatest tools in your awakening, teaching you that flow is more powerful than control. In this stage, there is also a deepening awareness of your multidimensional nature. You may experience moments where you feel expanded beyond your body, where your sense of self stretches into the vastness of existence. Meditation, silence, or even spontaneous experiences can bring glimpses of oneness, where you are no longer confined to the story of your individual identity, but feel connected to the infinite. These experiences can be blissful, humbling, and sometimes difficult to integrate, but they serve as reminders that your true essence is not limited to a name, a role, or a body. Your quantum consciousness allows you to experience life from both the individual perspective and the universal one, blending the human and the divine into a single awareness. With this expansion also comes a growing trust in the unseen, where once you may have demanded certainty or clear evidence before taking a step, now you begin to live more by faith, intuition, and resonance. You recognize that not everything can be proven through logic, yet the pull of your inner guidance is undeniable. You learn to move forward without needing to know every detail, trusting that the path will unfold as you walk it. This trust is not blind. It is born from repeated experiences where the universe has shown you its intelligence through synchronicities, guidance, and alignment. The more you surrender to this flow, the more you experience life as a co-creation rather than a struggle for control. This keynote represents a phase where awakening is no longer just an idea or a series of experiences, but a transformation that reshapes your very way of being. It is a time when old structures dissolve, when inner cleansing takes place, and when you learn to release attachments that no longer serve you. Through this process, you are not losing yourself but uncovering your truest essence, stepping into alignment with the infinite intelligence of the quantum field that has always been guiding you.